Hello, this is the BBC News with Fiona MacDonald. President Biden has told Vladimir Putin of his deep concern about Russia's build-up of forces near Ukraine and warned of stiff economic sanctions in the event of military escalation. During their 2-hour virtual summit, Mr. Biden, according to the White House, reiterated his support for Ukraine's sovereignty. Moscow, which has already annexed the Crimean Peninsula and is supporting a separatist insurgency in the east, insists it's not planning a further assault on Ukraine. Gary O'Donoghue reports.
Russian state television broadcast the pleasantries at the start of today's call. In question, the sovereignty of Ukraine itself and the extent to which the US and the West is prepared to protect it. To that end, one thing does seem to have changed recently. Through weeks of diplomacy and intelligence sharing, the US appears to have corralled its allies in Europe to speak with one voice. That means any new tougher sanctions on Russian individuals, companies or sectors could be made to bite much harder than they have up until now.
The Ukrainian presidency has said the talks between Mr. Biden and Mr. Putin had not produced anything sensational. An official said Kiev supported Mr. Biden's call for Russia to return to diplomacy and ensure de-escalation. He thanked Mr. Biden for offering Ukraine unwavering support. Police in France say a Saudi man suspected of involvement in the murder of the Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi has been arrested at a Paris airport. But a Saudi official has said it's a case of mistaken identity. The suspect was about to board a plane to Riyadh. Frank Gardner has been following developments.
He's named as Khalid Al-Attaibi, who is a 33-year-old member of the Saudi Royal Guard, very much part of the infrastructure around the all-powerful Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. He was sanctioned already by the West as somebody who was named as taking part in the hit team that murdered Khashoggi, something which is denied by the Saudis. He was present in the Consul General's office in Istanbul when the dismembered remains of Jamal Khashoggi were brought there, according to reports. And that's where they were disposed of.
The Vice President of Burundi says at least 38 people have been killed in a fire at a jail in the capital Gitega. Prosper Bazumbanza said nearly 70 others were seriously injured in the blaze. Some inmates are reported to have been trapped because the keys to parts of the prison were held by an official who wasn't on the premises. The Vice President said the fire was probably caused by prisoners tinkering with the electrics to charge their phones. This is the second fire in Gitega prison in the past few months. You're listening to the latest world news from the BBC. The US has imposed financial sanctions against Iranian, Syrian and Ugandan officials and organisations it says are linked to repression and the undermining of democracy. Among those targeted are Iran's counter-terrorism special forces and the commander of its most important domestic security service. The International Olympic Committee says it respects America's decision to carry out a diplomatic boycott of the Winter Olympics and Paralympics in Beijing because of human rights concerns. The chair of the IOC committee coordinating the Games, Juan Antonio Samaran, was asked to comment on the United States' decision during a news conference being held in the Swiss city of Lausanne on Lake Geneva.
We always ask for as much as respect as possible from the political world and the least possible interference on our sports and Olympic world and ideals. And we have to respect the political decisions taken by political bodies all around the world. We can only say that we are extremely proud, happy and hopeful that all the athletes of the world will have the opportunity to live in peace and friendship and brotherhood in the Olympic Village.
Earlier, China warned the US would pay a price, predicting the plot to disrupt the Olympics would fail. 4 university lecturers in Morocco have appeared in court accused of offering students better grades in return for sex. A 5th lecturer is to appear in court on Wednesday on charges of indecent assault and battery. The scandal is focused on the Hassan I University in the city of Settat. The winner of this year's Nobel Prize for Literature has described as inhumane the responses of Britain and France to migrants trying to cross the English Channel. On the day he received his medal, the Tanzanian-born novelist Abdulrazak Gurnah said he didn't understand why British ministers referred to them as criminals and thieves when some in government had come from immigrant families themselves. BBC News.